Hello everyone, so this is Time to Talk Hub. This is Fayahune and my lovely co-host who is
Vanessa Fisher.
We are on episode 3, which is amazing. So thank you for everyone listening to the last one with the anxious fireman and with Kelsey Bartlett. I said it right?
Yay!
And this time we are going to be talking about friendship, which is because last week it was Friendship Week. I mean, I think every week's Friendship Week for me. But so we wanted to discuss it further, mainly with Vanessa being with her best friend now. And yeah, just go on, take it away, Vanessa. What do you think about friendship?
Yeah, so I quite like the idea that it was National Best Friends Day and kind of did a little bit of a push out on social media and all the channels for the hub and kind of asked people to send a nice message or a thought or something to your best friend, or even it doesn't necessarily have to be a best friend. I think sometimes having that title best friend in itself can make other friends feel a little bit pushed out. So I like to say that I've got lots of best friends. They're all my bestest of friends. But yeah, so it really fed into the hub really well this week because I've talked a lot about the focus of having a good support network around you when you are looking to go into recovery, and even just if just your everyday. I think it doesn't even need to be tied into mental health, but just having that support network on any days that you're feeling down, or if you want to share some good news. I think it really does kind of make us feel like we've got that safety net, and we've got people who are there to be, to cheer us on and support us and encourage us to keep striving to have the best life that we can have.
No, I agree. Mainly when I asked my friends, which will put it. Did you get any of the voice notes, by the way, from your friends?
I've got them coming in. Yes,
me too. And it was, do you know what? It was such a lovely thing because I literally just sent a message to my friends saying, what does friendship mean to you? If you could just give us like a short voice note. And they sent them in. I'm not even joking you. When you're having a bit of a shitty day at work, when you listen to that, I was like, oh, it just proper warms you. And my friends literally said, it's you are a safety net. You can laugh, you can cry, you can do everything together. What did one of my friends say? Well, you're gonna hear it anyway, but she went, you and it's like another part of you. And I was like, that's I know. What did he say? So lovely. Yeah. But no, I agree. Did you get any comments on the things that you put online?
Yeah, I always find it a little bit kind of, I find it and this is something that I'm working on for myself, is I do find any compliments quite kind of, I go a bit awkward and a bit kind of like, oh, I don't know what to do. And so I've been practicing my response, which is thank you, that's very kind of you to say. So because I'll give them out. I find it a little bit hard to sort of have them come my way, but I did, and it was lovely. And I had a few people saying that their best friend or the person that they couldn't live without was their partner or their boyfriend, their girlfriend, or their mum, their dad. And I think in lockdown especially, I think people have really solidified some relationships with their friends, and it's kind of taken us away from meeting people in busy areas and busy things, and actually messaging and asking somebody and stopping and having that time to say, how are you today? And that's something that we forget to sort of focus on, because we're so busy. We up until the lockdown, we were living such a busy life. And I don't remember many people sort of, you'll go, hey, yeah, how are you? Yeah, good, fine, okay, bye. But do you ever actually stop and actually listen and say, you know, how are you today? And listen to that person's response. And I think sometimes that can also be the difference between realizing your friend's not okay. And sometimes, especially, sort of whether they have already got bad mental health, or whether they, sort of have just having a bad day. I'm very much a I'm fine warrior. So even if I'm having a bad day, I'll go, oh, I'm fine. Yep, fine. Um, but I've got more in tune at listening to people's responses. And very often you can tell that in that fine, they're not okay. And that's when you can kind of be there more as a friend.
Do you know what I found as well since COVID? A lot of my friends they used to be the I'm fine people have been way more honest and been like, so when I have been doing like the check-ins because it'd be like when I'd see them normally, and they've been really honest and been like, no, I'm not okay, or I am having a bit of a down day, or I'm taking a day for myself, and I'm so proud of them to say that, because I'm like, yes, I'm glad that you're saying that, and I hope it's not just a COVID thing. I'm hoping that it doesn't just end then. And something you said then about being in we always went crowded places. I got into the bad habit of every time I saw my friends. I don't know if it's because I was going back home to Stoke. I'm in Manchester, and I'd be like, let's go out. Let's go for a meal. Let's do this. Let's do that, and actually make a really big thing out of it. Like, it was never just a let's just sit and chill. It was never that. It was always, we've got to make every second count. Now, because we've all had that many video calls of just staring at each other on the sofa and enjoying it shows that you can do it in real life. You don't need, I mean, of course, we all can't wait to get out and have fun, but it shows that we can take that step back and just sit down, watch a film together, or just chat, or stare at a wall if you want to. But you just enjoy each other's company. You don't need to do that big, I've got to go and do a million things to prove that we're the bestest friends and having the best time.
Absolutely. And I think it's important for me, and this is my opinion. Obviously, I'm not trying to say to everybody that this is something that they should be practicing, but I think definitely, sort of having that mindfulness on your friendships, and having just a, a friend catch up where it's in a quieter space and you're all really relaxed. You can have a couple of glasses of wine, but you're not all sort of on a night out and it's loud. And you can actually, in that moment, really kind of connect and understand and see how your friend is doing. And I think when you go out and you're having a couple of drinks and it's a laugh and there's music and whatever, it's very easy to put a skin on. And I think, if when you're in that sort of more sort of peaceful setting, it does allow you to sort of start to see that person for how they really are. And I think that sometimes can be a really important tool to have. And I'm very much one about, sort of having those moments. I very much believe in living in the moments. Um, because obviously, my philosophy is that you can't change what's already happened, and you can't predict what's going to happen. All you have is this day, this moment, this hour. And when you kind of find that, and I actually remember a counselor saying this to me. She said, when you find the ability to be in the moment, she said, you'll find this peacefulness. She said, because you can just focus on what you have control at. And so I try and kind of bring that into my friendships as well, and make sure that I have those sort of quieter moments with my friends and keep checking in, and sort of just, having that different level of sort of conversation, rather than it being mad and sort of, and don't get me wrong, like, everybody loves to go out and have a laugh and stuff, but I think there's a time and a place for genuine conversations.
Yeah, I definitely agree. Do you know, it's funny that you've just said that, because when I did a little bit of research on friendship, it says here that it's been proven that having friendship triggers empathy. So it says here that they've actually studies the brains of like 20 different people, and we've given them electric shocks. A friend of someone, it would actually initiate like empathy to have for that person because of them getting pain. So it's been proven that that is exactly what you've just said, and it's
Yeah.
beautiful. I do sometimes think, that saying, you can't pick your family, but you can pick your friends. And I do believe that. I do like, and yeah, I do sometimes think, like me and my mum say it, like you can love your friends on the same level as your family, and sometimes a little bit more.
I think so, yeah, and it kind of feeds nicely into like the conversation because there will be people listening to this that might feel that for whatever reason they haven't got healthy relationships with their family, and but they have a family within their friends, and that really was it's quite important for me. I mean, I very much sort of have a family of friends, and and rebuilt relationships with my family, but um I do believe I don't agree with the saying the blood is thicker than water. I think that even if you're not blood related, they can still mean as much, if not more.
Oh God, I completely agree because yeah, because my like that, and also that is true with families because like my stepdad is
Hmm.
is now, even though he's not been in my life for a long, long time, I see him as my dad, and I'd rather have his so-called water than have my dad's blood. Do you know what I mean? Because and people class their like stepsisters and stepbrothers and godparents. They say auntie might not be blood, but God, do they mean something? So no, I completely agree that friendships, and some people don't have families. So when people say that, I also, yeah, I feel like it's a very some people might disagree, but I feel like that's a bit of an old saying for in the days when friends weren't as important, when family was like your
Yeah,
connections and
the
stuff.
Romeo and Juliets of the day. Yeah.
Yes. And another thing I feel we should also make people clear of is you don't need to have looking at one of my things here saying is friends were limited back in the day. They're not now because of Facebook and stuff. But I just want to let people know that some people get upset by only having one friend. They'll be like,
Hmm.
God, I've only got one friend. And I'm thinking, so what? Your one friend could mean more than that person who's got 20 million. Do you know what I mean? I just want people to know that that one friend, even if it's one, that friend will mean the world to you. That speaks like your sister and brother. So, because people get really upset when they're like, oh, I can't go out with a big group of friends, or I can't talk to loads of friends. I've only got the one. Darling, do not worry. It's still a beautiful friendship.
I think this is the thing as well, and I think for me, I learnt a really valuable lesson when I went into hospital. And I know a lot of people. I'm acquainted with a lot of people. But my true friends are a very small group of people. And, I think people sometimes can get sort of sold on this idea that the more people that know of you, or that you talk to, or Facebook and social media is one of these where it kind of paints an unrealistic picture of what somebody's life really is. There is a big difference between an acquaintance, which is somebody who you may see go out for a couple of drinks, or even maybe only see once or twice a year. There's a very big difference to that kind of relationship to a friendship. And I say this very often. I have a lot of friends from varying ages, so I like to think it keeps me down with the kids. But and I often say to them that what people don't realize is that a friendship is just as important as a relationship. It's just a different type of relationship, and in order to keep that friendship sort of growing and connected, you have to put the time into that. And if you're not willing to put the time into that friendship, it will eventually sort of become distant, just like any relationship in your life. So be careful how many pots you're trying to put gold into, because it could eventually you will find that you're the one that's sat with nothing. Sometimes it's actually more healthy to have one or two friends that you know without a doubt would be there for you no matter what, and put your energy into those relationships and those friendships. And I'm not saying obviously cut people out your life, but just be aware of the ones that would be there for you and you for them, and the people that are just happy to kind of know you but not initially support you or encourage you, or to 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 be there to see you make the best of your life.
Yeah, I no, completely agree. I absolutely love the sayings that you come out with, Vanessa. That honestly, when you said be careful how much gold you put in your pots, I was like, the stuff you come out with, I absolutely love it. I'm so gonna be saying that now. I think it's amazing. The only thing that I would say about that as well is with COVID, because some people haven't been coping, some people might not have reached out. So if they were close friends before COVID, don't think that they are lost. They might have been only coping in their own way. I mean,
Yeah.
I'm gonna be honest, I'm lucky because all my friends have spoken. We've always talked, and I bet you're the same. But I know that some people might have struggled and might have got into a little hole and just been like, that was their way of coping and didn't message you. That they are still your friends. Maybe try them. Okay, they might be dicks and they might not want to be your friend. I'm not saying they are, but
Yeah.
they have actually been coping in their own way, and that was their way of coping with whatever we were going through. Because COVID, no one knows how to cope with it. So it's kind of a weird. It's such a weird time. I couldn't give any advice. All I'd say is, if they were true friends before, maybe check in on them and be like,
Yeah.
why are they acting a bit odd? Why have they suddenly dropped me?
I 100% agree. I think we might have to edit that because I'm sure I've just snorted up on the podcast. But
I don't think we're definitely keeping this in now.
I can't even blame Teddy, he's not in the room. But yeah, no, my friends do know that my tendency, if I'm having a bad day, and I'm, and I'm still very much working every day on my own mental health and keeping that sort of in a good place. But if I have a particularly emotional day or particularly bad time, I very much, and I know, and I'm aware of the fact that I do withdraw. I withdraw from everything and everyone, and I will tend to just kind of go ghost on them for a few days. But they understand that, and I think that's what's important. I think if you have a friend who suddenly starts to do these things, then you would be having the conversation as, well, I am a bit concerned. It's out of your character. Could they be developing? Especially, we've seen such a big increase of people who wouldn't normally say that they were struggling with their mental health. But the lockdown, the isolation, I mean, there's a reason why isolation is used as a punishment in corporate prisons and things. It is extremely difficult. So if it's out of character, make sure you touching base. This is where the traffic light system can come into play. Ask, even if they don't want to talk to you, if they just sort of send you a text emoji or whatever to say, it can be modified to something for you and your friend, or family member. If sort of this is something that your friend's quite prone to doing, my friends now know that I will eventually kind of message and say, oh, I'm sorry, I went down the rabbit hole. And that's my favorite saying, disappeared down the rabbit hole like Alice in Wonderland, because it does sometimes feel like you've disappeared into Wonderland. What were you saying, lovely?
Just gonna say you've done it with me once. I was like, she's gone off the radar. I don't know what's happened, and then you just came back. I literally thought you were like Alice. I was like, I was just, it's obviously scary as a friend, but at the same time, it's understandable. The funny thing is, Vanessa, I'd literally wrote down on here how friends can help in a crisis or when you're low. So I put call, text, meet up, let them stay over for a while, and I'd literally put quote as previously discussed with Vanessa, give them your crisis help sheet recovery plan. Because
Yeah,
you give that out, don't you, to certain friends, so just in case. And then I finally put, be honest, be open, and ask how they might be, and then sorry, dyslexia here, how they are as they might be in a similar situation, so you can actually see each other's different sides. But no, I feel like your traffic light is a really, really good idea, because who isn't on the phones these days? I just think it's so simple and easy to do.
Well, this is it, and and if you, I'm hoping, and that the more people that listen to the podcast, and they might, sort of want to find out a bit more about what we're doing at the hub, and the more people that we can reach out to try and work on that crisis plan, and that having that safety net, and talking about the traffic light system, and getting them to discuss it with their support network. I just think that we'll start to build this spider web where people are not going to be falling through the cracks, and people don't feel there's alone, and slowly, people will sort of become more aware that they are in control. You just need to have the tools, and we have the tools that we want to give these people to start controlling and managing and having the life they've always wanted.
I agree. I mean, what is it all going to be like when we actually see our friends? It's going to be,
Oh, I know.
it's going to be like, we're going to go back all to hippies and just all be loving each other and give each other hugs and be like, don't blink, man. I know I will be. Peace to the world, because that's what we need now. But it is going to be beautiful.
Yeah.
I'm hoping that it's going to bring everyone together in
Hmm.
the standard, because I feel like everyone, however much someone goes, oh no, I haven't felt lonely, or I haven't felt a bit shitty, or I haven't felt this. I feel like everyone through COVID has at least felt it a little bit now.
Yeah.
So I feel like everyone now should be able to understand mental health or loneliness or needing someone. I feel like everyone's had just a little bit of a tinge of it, even if they don't feel much or they just don't understand it. I feel like they must have gone, oh, do you know what? I think I might understand how Vanessa's feeling now, or Fire's feeling now with someone. It's gonna be beautiful. Well, I'm hoping so anyway.
I think so, yeah. And I mean, obviously, I'd like to also mention, we've lost a lot of people within the virus, and there are a lot of families that are going through sort of their own grief, and I send my utmost love and respect to those people. There are a lot of people that have lost loved ones to mental health in this crisis. And again, I kind of almost feel that um, for every story I hear, it's one less person I wasn't able to reach in time. And
Just gonna say I feel responsibility.
yeah, I do. And I think as a personal testimony, obviously because I started this from my own journey of my own suicide attempt, and I genuinely can understand and know how they felt at that point, and how I am just really, really striving to really make a difference. And it's not money. It's not about that. It's not about getting corporate funding or anything at the moment. It's about just getting out to the people that need it, that they aren't alone, and there is a sort of a network of people out there to help them, and that the reason I started the hub was to make sure that they knew where those people were and help them get the help and support that they need. And so, yeah, I mean, I think if at any point, and we will put all the details up at the end of the podcast, but if you're worried about anybody in your life, or, especially, your friends, family, it's really important to reach out, get educated, understand, and know how you can support them.
I'm really glad you said that, because yeah, that's the main thing, that we are going to put it all on here and just let everyone know that there is help out there. And like that's the whole aim of what you're making, Vanessa, is it's not even just the main places like mine. There is so many little places in every single city, in every single town. There is something. Even businesses have their own person that could help. Like,
Mhm.
you might not have it on your forehead, like I can help, but you can. So, I mean, I've not really got anything else to say after that, really.
No, it was kind of an end of combos,
That
sort
was
of full stop.
Well, let's not end on it like that, though. Let's end on thank you, everyone, for listening. Please tune in for episode 4. Crazy.
Oh, with hopefully we'll have one of our wonderful guest speakers
Yeah.
on, and be able to talk a little bit more about, mental health for them. And I'm not going to divulge who our guest speakers are going to be. I think it'd be a nice surprise. We have got a couple of little ace cards up my sleeve, so watch the space.
The contacts that Vanessa has, sometimes even I'm like, what? Crazy. Anyway, thank you everyone for listening, and everyone stay safe, look after your friends, and look after yourselves.
Yes. Bye.